Let me know if you can hear me, and I'm trying to get it on my laptop too. So, can you hear me okay, you guys? Oh my god, I can't believe I said the word guys. You know how I am about that, y'all. Okay, let's see if we can get this going here. Can you hear me okay, you guys? Let's mute that because I don't need to hear myself. Thank you very much. All right, one sec. Let me get this up on my screen, okay? There we go. All right. Let's see. Are you going to work? Oh my god, I can't believe I put... Okay. Here we are, my very first live. Thank you, thank you, thank you for everyone who has shown up. Hey, Dulce. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I'm like incredibly nervous. I'm just letting you all know that right now. So I apologize if I stumble over my words. But yeah, I have a crap ton of charms. I'm not even kidding when I say crap ton. I have a crap ton of charms to go through today. I think I may have said in one of my videos, I'm not 100% positive. Sorry, I had to itch the eye there. That I bought a bunch of these pink, like, organizers because they were just so adorable and cute, and I love them, and I'm like, oh my gosh, right? And these things are a piece of crap. Do not buy. 2 thumbs down. Literally, I don't know if you can see, they're taped because they are crap, okay? So I have to get rid of these because I have 10 of them. So initially I ordered some boxes, which are, it's kind of funny, ordered them off of Temu, and I was like, oh, this is going to be awesome. And they showed up, and let me show you what showed up. Look at how small this damn thing is. I'm like, yeah, that's not gonna work. So, hold on 2 seconds. There we go. I'm like, that is not gonna work at all. Oh, hey, Stacy, yay! So I bought these, they're way too small. So then I was like, okay, you know what? I'm just gonna order some from Amazon. It's fine, right? No big deal. I'll get them from Amazon. And so then this is what showed up. It's like the 2 extremes. I couldn't get like the right size box. I went from having like, hi, little itty bitty baby boxes to gigantor ones. But hey, you know, it is what it is. I have a crap ton of charms, so I'm sure I will use the space. But first of all, I figured what I would do today is, besides go through my charms and just kind of, you know, organize them, put them in the containers I want to, I just figured I'd tell you a little bit about me and who I am and where I am and all of that good stuff. So I think we've all established that I'm from Illinois. I moved, well, I was born in Illinois, but I have lived around the country all over. And my mom's job is basically kind of what moved us around. My mom was a single parent, and she went into a profession that was a male dominated profession. And so we moved around a lot with her job. My mom went into the automotive industry, which is where I work now. Can you all hear all right? Let me know if you can hear. That's what I'm trying to figure out. Can you guys hear me? Oh my god, I did it again. See, I can tell I'm really nervous because I'm using a word I never normally ever use. Okay, perfect. That's what I wanted to know. So yeah, so my mom went into a profession that was what was considered a non-traditional profession for women at the time. So my mom became a technician and worked on cars. So we lived in Southern Illinois initially when she started the whole like going to college thing. So my mom, my family are from the Chicagoland area, but my mom moved me out of the Chicagoland area just because she didn't want me to be to grow up in the city, which is where she grew up. And I will tell you, I am such the burbs girl. It is not even funny. I am, you take me into a city and I'm like, hello, someone needs to help me, please. Please help me. So, yeah, I'm full on like the total burbs girl. But so my mom became a automotive technician, and in doing that, I don't know if anyone knows anything about the automotive industry, but and just technicians and fixing cars and things like that in general, right? I'm not sure. I have no clue. It's one of those things that I think it's my family has been doing stuff like that for so long that it just seems like second nature to me. And sometimes I forget that people don't know what I'm talking about or may not have the same experience. That's what I mean. The same experience to draw from to understand what I'm talking about. But in the automotive industry, when you become a technician, there are tests that you have to take that are called ASEs. So you can become certified, right? And they're a pretty big deal. When you get ASE certified, you make a lot more money, all of that. So the thing that's kind of cool about my mom, and I feel like is one of the things that makes her one of my sheroes, is that my mom was the second woman ever to be ASE master certified. So it takes a lot to do that, but back in the 70s, my mom was the second woman ever. And I just think that is some of the coolest thing ever because, let's be honest, back in the 70s, for some of you who may not have been around in the 70s, I don't know if you all know this, but women couldn't get credit cards without a man signing for them in the 70s. So going into the automotive industry and doing really well at it was a big thing to do. So I am extremely proud of my mom, but my mom's job moved us around a lot. Anyone whose kids, if you are in the biz, we used to move like every 18 months. So I really truly can say that I do not have like friends from when I was super young or anything like that. The longest I ever lived anywhere was Southern California, and that was college and like right after college. So she absolutely was an innovator. I have a very funny story though. Oh, you know what? I'm not done with these. What am I doing? I will be doubling some of these up. So I have a funny story about it though. My mom, her specialty was transmissions. So General Motors started what they called the Technical Assistance Hotline, and my mom was one of the people. Oh wait, those two go together. My mom was one of the people who helped start that. This doesn't exactly match, but it's gonna work for me. So she specialized in transmissions, and back in the 80s, no one kind of understood that the term I'm getting ready to tell you probably wasn't the greatest term to use, but they used to call my mom the tranny granny. And I'm just like, now I die laughing about it. But at the time, it was all, it was a term of endearment that the technicians gave her because of the fact that she was just very good at her job. But my mom, being my mom, who's now 75, y'all, and still just an absolute hoot. She decided to join a few of the social media platforms, and before I could stop her, she joined up using the name Tranny Granny and got flagged on one of them. And I'm like, Mom, what are you doing? It's just, it's one of those things. I had to laugh. You gotta love the lady, right? Oh, whoa, that was close. Where do I want to put that? All right, you can go there. Okay, one of these stupid pink things gone. I swear, I just want to like throw it across the room. They were so cute, and I'm like, oh my gosh. Oh, you worked for Honda. Sweet. What did you do for Honda? But when I ordered these, I was like, oh my God, they're going to be so adorable and cute. They're going to look adorable in the drawer. I swear, I think 3 of them broke the first day when I was just literally putting charms in them. So yeah, that one's gone. Let me move this one sec. I tried to, before we start,
Someone is at the front door.
There's someone at my front door. What in the holy hell? They're just going to have to wait because I am not answering the door. Hold on. Let me see if I can see on the TV who it is. I have no idea who you are at my front door, so you best just leave what you're going to leave and go. Okay. Doesn't it just figure? I'm like, what in the hell? Sorry about that. But so I tried to kind of organize it a little bit before we did this. I've got a bunch of charms in here. These are flowers and hearts. All of these glow in the dark. These are mostly stones that I'm going to transfer to these thinner trays because I think they'll just work better. And then I have these over here. So did I tell you I had 10 trays to do? So this one has some stones, but it's got a crap ton of bows in it, and then just some, oh, I love the gears. I love steampunk nails. So got some of that. This is mostly flowers with a little bit of stones in it and some butterflies. More flowers and more flowers and more flowers and more flowers and more flowers. Oh, and some bows. You're going to find out I have a thing for bows. I'm pretty sure most of the things in here are bows, except for like a few of these right here. There's some wings over here, which I do know I have back behind me, and some flowers. But I have a thing for bows. I don't understand why. You know, it's like, how many bows can one person, first of all, because I'm not even making press-ons anymore. So I used to make press-ons all the time, right? Used to sell them, all of that. One sec, I need something to drink. Okay. So, hold on. I'm trying to see if I missed what you did at Honda. Hold on. Did on IG. Oh, you made computer panels for them. How cool. I seriously do have a bow for every occasion. I'm not even kidding you. These aren't even all my bows. You don't understand. I have a crap ton of bows like behind me. Hi, Riri. If I have not said hello, I would love to say hello. Hi, Sugared. I'm like Emma, Dulce. Who else is on? I know Stacy's on. I saw Alicia's on. Hello, everyone. So I appreciate you jumping on my very first live. I'm a little less nervous now. I'm starting to chill out a little bit. Hi, Ange. So we're all good. I will not be rambling quite as much as which I can be. I think I was talking to Dulce last night about being nervous about my live, and she was like, because I told her I'd never been on live before, and she's like, but you were able to talk in your videos, and she was very nice about the way she said it. But I'm like, I will let y'all know, I am a chatterbox. Hi, Crystal. Thank you for joining. But yes, so I'm a huge chatterbox. So some of y'all might be like, you know what? It's time to shut the hell up, but it is what it is. Okay, so yes, a bow for every occasion. More flowers. Ooh, chains. We need to move those chains over. And then again, oh my gosh. Okay, so apparently I really like the wings. We have 2 sections of wings here. We'll definitely put those together. See, I think this is the problem I have. And I'm not sure. I'm sure a lot of us have this problem, right? You get a lot of things. They're amazing. You do these awesome hauls. You buy stuff. It shows up. And you have so many things that it's almost overwhelming, and I don't know where to start. You know? It's like, I look at it and I almost get like, I don't even know what the word is, but just like, oh gosh, these are little pieces. Yeah, no, that's, we'll transfer that into a different one. I thought those were the chains. Those are the little piece of chains. But I get where I will be almost so overwhelmed that I just sit here going, oh, I just don't know what to do. You know, it's like, and it's funny because I have a spiral notebook that I write down all my video ideas in, and I have pages and pages of them. I'm not even kidding you, probably 10 pages of them. And I will go through that, and then I'll be like, yes, I'm going to do that one. And I'll go sit down, and I will take a hard left, and before I know it, I'm doing something completely different, and it's just like, what am I doing? So, all right, I'm gonna try to, and I don't know if you all do this, but these big ones, the thing that I have an issue with these big ones is I hate these stupid things moving around. I absolutely hate that. So what I try to do, and I've only done it with one so far because I've only taken one out of the packaging, is, I don't know if you can see, but there's little beads of glue right here because I do not want everything to slide around. It drives me crazy. Hold on. Oh, food poisoning. I'm so sorry. Oh, that's horrible. That is so, it is. It's the Shein addiction. 100%. Oh, I'm so sorry about the food poisoning. Oh, that's awful. I've had food poisoning a couple of times, and yeah, it is not pleasant at all. Oh, and the other thing I was going to say is I'm addicted, like literally addicted to the mocha, like charms, stones, all of that. So I started this case because I have a bunch of mocha stuff, like kind of like all over, and I want to see if I can get it all in one. Because first of all, how pretty will that be? You know what I mean? Having them just like all in here, just the mochas. Oh, aesthetically, I will be so just a happy girl. But it'll also keep them closer to closer together. Do you know what I mean? So when I want to go use them, so I'm going to move these right now. When I want to go use them, they will be there for me. So how do you all like store all your stuff? I will tell you, I think I have found a genius idea that I've shared just recently. The letter sorters or that you use in offices and stuff like that, they come in sizes where you can sit your nail stand on them. And oh my gosh, I have so much more storage now. It is amazing. Let me get my baby spoon. Look at this little tiny baby spoon. Let's see if I can get these out without making a huge mess. But I think if I can get all my mocha stones and things together, I'll stop buying them, because the problem I have is that I'm like, oh, I don't think I have those. Like, I'm sure I have these butterflies somewhere else. I guarantee you, I would put money on it that I have these butterflies in one of the acrylic organizers behind me. I mean, I would just bet money on it, because there's no way that, first of all, I remembered they were in this damn pink thing because there were 10 of them in the drawer. So I absolutely know that I did not remember those were in there. So I guarantee you I probably got another whole, maybe 2 sections of butterflies that I will have to get added to this. All right, we're going to move that one. I want to try to see, now I started, and this is my problem. I started the bunnies in here because the bunnies came on, they were actually still on the plastic piece that comes out of the punch when they make them. So I had to break them all out, and I didn't want to do that on camera. But now I'm all like, I want to try to do like bunnies and animals and things like that in this one. So I have these bunny charms, and I think I've said something to somebody recently. I do not know why I'm so addicted to bunny charms recently, but I mean, come on. How cute are they though? Oh, thank you, Dulce. I got it literally just the other day. It's from Amazon. It's one of those giant mouse pads. It was like $17. I was like, oh my God, I must own it. Must own it. But so yeah, those little bunnies are just the cutest damn things ever. And I know I have more bunnies behind me. So one second, let me grab this. I'm pretty sure, oh look, more mocha stones, and I bet you when we go through these, we'll find some butterflies. Okay, so I'm trying to keep this one, I want to keep it like little animals, and so I've got bunnies right there. Those are Hello Kitty stars, so I don't really consider those animals. You don't consider those animals, do y'all? I don't know, but like these little bears and these cats. Okay. I have used these on junk nails before, and I absolutely love them. Hi, Bunny. So we're gonna put the kitties in here for sure, because I want this to, like I said, to, if I can get all of my animal type charms, as I say in quotes, then I'll be happy to have that one. I bought, I'm not kidding y'all, I bought 1, 2, 3, 4. I bought 8 of these. So, and if I have enough charms to fill them all, then I need to go to like some sort of a Buyer's Anonymous program or something, because that is like a little. See, I agree. I want to do a complete Hello Kitty Sanrio organizer. That's absolutely what I think I need to do. I agree with that one. But if I have enough stuff to fill all these, y'all, I need to get help. This is crazy. And that's my problem. Like I said, it gets put in drawers. I can't see it. And then when I can't see it, out of sight, out of mind, you know, as they say, right? So then I'm like, oh, wow. And you're checking out on Temu or Shein, and they're like, do you want to add this for like $1.09? And I'm always like, hell yeah, I do. So that's my problem. Stacy has been my voice of reason. I am on a 45-day no-buy, and I have 42 days left. I can do it. I will tell you, though, I was on Allie this morning quite early, because I woke up at 4 with like a gnarly headache, and I'm like, oh, great, that's all I need today. But I was on Allie this morning and found a set of polishes and absolutely had to put them, hi Lena, put them in my cart, and in 42 days I will be checking out, and those will be coming home to me. They are, I think they're really cool, and I feel like Crystal did, so I know there's a Korean brand, and I want to say, I think I saw them on Crystal's channel. They're the polishes that have the fur in them. Oh my gosh. So they have a set on Allie now, and I want them so bad. Like, so bad. I cannot even tell you. I have looked at them so many times. It's awful. It's awful. I will tell you. How do I keep saying I will tell you? I'm like, give me a break, right? Anyway, one of the things I love to do is visit stuff, right? It's hard for me to spend large sums of money. I'm okay, like, buying charms and things like that, and I'm like, oh yeah, because let's be honest, $50 worth of charms, my God, the bag that comes to your house is insane. But I'm one of these people that, like, I have to visit things that are large purchases. Like, I love designer purses. I have to absolutely, like, go visit expensive purses multiple times, look at them, and be like, okay, do I really want to spend that kind of money on purses? Because I have an addiction to Coach purses, and I just am like, and then the problem is I'll get a nice purse, and I don't want to use it, because I'm like, what happens if it, like, you know, if I ruin it, or I break it or something? I'm like, my God, what the hell then? I'd be so upset. Anyway. All right, so we have bears. What else do we have in here? That's Hello Kitty. Those are some bows. And oh, look, mocha charms. I know y'all are surprised by that. All right, let's move this one over here. Do we have animals over here? Why, yes, we do. Okay. So anyways, the story about me and my mom, and how I got to be where I am today and who I am today. So my mom always says we went to college together, because she had me when she was 19, and we moved down to Southern Illinois to a little town called Carterville, which is outside of Carbondale. SIU, Southern Illinois University, is down there. Go Salukis. My mom graduated from there. So we lived down there, and at the time, oh my God, seriously, I will absolutely drop $200 on Shein and then be like, I don't know about that. That's like $20. Do I really need that? And it could be something I totally need for the house, right? Absolutely. I'm 100% the same way. So, but yeah, so we were down in Southern Illinois. My mom was going to school down there, and she worked at Sears at the time. which is kind of funny. And so, just to let you all know, I am 56, so I do not act my age. I probably never will. So, in case you're like, oh my gosh, I'm surprised by the way you act. Yeah, so is everybody else. But hey, it is what it is, right? Um, so I'm a child of the 70s, and my mom sometimes, like, we would have to, when she'd have to work, because she was a single parent, she'd take me to the mall because she worked at the mall with, that's where Sears was at the time. And I would like go to the movie theater and watch movies all day long, and that was like my babysitting. But so she worked down at Sears, and basically she just changed tires. That's all they let her do initially, is just change tires on cars, because that's all a woman could do. They were, I mean, they made it sound like she was lucky that they hired her at all, right? So, but my mom is, I'm not kidding when I say this, and I'm not trying to be like braggadocious, but my mom is truly brilliant. The way her brain works is just like, I wish my brain worked like hers. Let me just tell you. But so she ended up getting hired by General Motors. And when General Motors hired her, they moved us from Illinois to Missouri. And so I lived in Missouri for a while, and then I lived in Kansas for a little while. Oh, happy birthday to your husband, Emma. So yeah, I've lived in Kansas, I've lived in Missouri, I've lived in Michigan. I was in Michigan for, gosh, a good while, because I finally begged my mom, because here's the thing, okay? I went to 3 different schools in 3 states in 3 years. And when you do that, it makes it really difficult sometimes to make those like long-term connections. Like I said, I can't tell you anybody I went to elementary school with, junior high, none of that. Isn't it? Oh my gosh, the little baby spoon is just it works so well. It gets most of them out, and then the tweezers are good for the rest. But so I went to 7th grade, 8th grade, 9th grade in 3 different states in 3 years in a row. So I finally begged my mom, please, please, for the love of God, can we stay somewhere just so I can graduate from high school, so that I can at least have some sort of connection with people and be able to like be with people for long enough to feel like when you graduate that there are people that you're excited to celebrate with and all of that, right? So my mom took a job. She was working with General Motors already, but then she was in the field at that time. So my mom would, in the automotive industry, when you are a field traveler, right after Christmas, because, so if you work for a car manufacturer, most of the time, depending on the manufacturer, but most of the time, you get between like Christmas Eve and New Year's Day off every year, because everything shuts down there. All of our plants shut down, nothing's being built, right? So, but my birthday is January 9th, and my mom was a field traveler. So we would come back to work on the 2nd of January, my mom would, and sometimes she would be gone for a week or 2. So we missed birthdays and things like that as I was growing up. So I finally was like, oh my gosh, can we please just stay someplace for longer than 18 months? Because they used to move us like seriously 18 months. Oh, it's your mama's birthday too? That's awesome. Yep, I'm a January baby. I am a Capricorn. If you know anything about Capricorns, we can be stubborn. If my mom was here, she would probably tell you that is putting it mildly. Let me grab one more tray. She would probably tell you that's putting it mildly, because I can be a dog with a bone sometimes when it's something I'm extremely passionate about. So to the point where I get blinded by it sometimes, you know what I mean? So anyway, so I begged my mom, please can we stay in one place longer than 18 months? And that place ended up being Michigan. So I lived in Michigan. I lived in Sterling Heights. If anyone knows Michigan, for a while there, I don't think Eminem lives there anymore, but he used to live in Sterling Heights. But I lived in Sterling Heights, graduated from high school there. It was I'm not trying to, and I hope I don't offend anybody by what I'm getting ready to say, but I used to call it sterile whites. It was the whitest community I've ever lived in my life. It was so sterile. It was just, and being someone who moved around a lot, when I first got there, I was just like, what is this? I don't understand. Oh, where are you at in Michigan, Lena? But yeah, it was just not a community that my mother and I have kind of ever lived in. My mom has always just been very open, and she loves people for who they are. My mom, so my mom was a total hippie in the '60s. Oh, oh, I love races. I love going to races. It's so much fun. It really is. We used to get tickets all the time through my job, but they closed the speedway out here in where I live. Like they had the Joliet, they had speedway out there, and yeah, they tore that sucker down, which is kind of sad because NASCAR would come there every summer, and it would be a lot of fun. NASCAR now does a race down in downtown Chicago, and I'm like, yeah, that's just no, that's not my idea of good. 30 minutes west of Detroit. Okay, so yeah, so I lived in Sterling Heights. I thought I freaking knew everything, and I mean everything when I was young. To the point that my mom and I butted heads so badly in the middle of my senior year that I moved out of the house and moved to Detroit. So here is this little, you know, suburbanite girl who's never lived in the city who moves to freaking Detroit in the middle of her senior year in high school. Because I was like, screw that. I know everything. Can I just tell you, I know fucking nothing, all right? Excuse me if my language like offends anyone, but it is what it is. But yeah, so I was this cocky kid who thought she knew everything, moved out of the house in the middle of my senior year and was like, what the hell? So I lived in Detroit for a little while. And then I moved closer to where my mom was living. In Detroit, the roads are called miles. Well, not all of them. Some of the roads are called miles, right? So if anybody has seen the movie, 8 Mile with Eminem, I actually lived in that trailer park like years before he did. It did not look quite like that when I lived there. Like, I mean, just put it that way. But yeah, I lived in the trailer park on 8 Mile that Eminem lived in a lot, much longer than, like, much later than I did. But yeah, so I lived there, and from there, I decided I needed to connect with my family, right? So, yeah, living in Detroit, I will say, I mean, because my mom and I used to go down to Detroit all the time, but when we went down to Detroit, we would go to like, Greek Town, or we would go down to the Renson and do stuff like that. Living in Detroit was a completely different thing. I mean, completely. So it was such an eye opener for me. I realized that the things that I thought my mom was being, a hard nose about and all this stuff, because I hit my full height of 5'8" in 5th grade. Okay, so I was tall before everybody else, and I had boobs before everybody else. So living in where I lived in Sterling Heights, I would literally, I'm not even kidding you, we would skip school and go to Canada and party in Canada. And I was like, what's the big deal? It's no biggie. It's just, it's just Canada. I'm just going across, We would go to Canada and drink and all of this. And yeah, my poor mom, there were times where she had no clue where the hell I was, because I thought, screw this. I'm an adult. I can take care of myself. Why? Why? I'm telling you. It's, yeah. I am lucky to be alive. Let me just tell you that, people. I am seriously lucky to be alive. When I think of some of the shit that I did when I was in my teens, I look at my mom now, and I'm just so grateful that, she even talks to me. I'm like, I'm telling you. Oh my gosh, Ohio. So I've been to Ohio for business. I've never gone there for anything else, but I had to go to Ohio for a business trip before. I got caught in a winter storm because I was driving. At the time, I worked for Volvo, so I got caught in my Volvo in a winter storm in Ohio. But that's like the only time I've been to Ohio. I've lived, so I was born in Illinois. We've lived in Kansas, Missouri, Michigan, California. I'm missing one. I'm missing one. What am I missing? Maybe I'm not. Maybe that's all of them. But so my mom moved me around a lot, and I feel like I got to see interesting parts of the world or the country. Let's put it that way. The only places I have been outside of the world, um, it does. It absolutely does, Dulce. My mom, I can tell you right now, is my absolute best friend. So she is my biggest cheerleader. So absolutely love her to death. But the only places I've really been outside of the U.S. is I've been to Canada, like I said, as a little shit, deciding that I was going to go party there during high school. I'm not even kidding. So when I lived in Michigan, there was a class you had to take. It was called Michigan. It was like much like government history, like, but it was specific to Michigan, right? And I was such a shit that I was able to get myself out of that class most of the time, and got to the point where they were like, hey, if you want to graduate, you've got to pass your final with an A. And I'm like, what? Huh? So needless to say, I passed it. Thank you very much. I studied my ass off for that. But I am, oh gosh, I think about the things I did when I was younger, and Lord, it frightens me sometimes. Oh, yeah, you're like, yeah, I got rid of those Michigan. It was hilarious too because one of the things we had to do is we did a potluck, right? And it was supposed to be a Michigan-based potluck. How this has anything to do with Michigan history and government, I don't know. But anyways, so we had to do a potluck about Michigan stuff, and I made a pizza in the shape of Michigan. So I made like a pizza that looked like a mitten. I didn't do the UP, but yeah, it was hilarious. So after I graduated from high school, I stuck around Michigan probably for maybe a year and a half, and then that's when I decided I was going to get closer to my family in Illinois, because I was like, oh my gosh, I really don't know my family. My mom had at the time seven sisters and one brother, right? There's not, some of them have passed, but so, and you know, all these cousins I have, and I was like, I'm gonna move to Illinois to get to know my family. I'm like, you know, family's everything and all this stuff. Can I tell you, I have learned a hard lesson in life that sometimes family is not blood. You know, it's one of those things where I moved close to my family and realized that my family that was around here was not the most open-minded, if shall I say. I'm a peace, love, and understanding kind of gal, right? As long as you are not hurting anyone, I do not feel I have any right to tell you how to live your life. And I would expect the same of people, how they would treat me, right? Well, yeah, my family, once I moved here, I realized there was a reason my mom moved us away from the family. I was like, oh, okay. Some of these people are not the nicest people in the world, you know? So I was like, that's, you know, it was kind of disappointing, because I had in my mind this total, you know, fairy tale of what it was going to be like. I was going to move back here, and we were going to have, like, you know, family get-togethers and stuff like that, and everybody was going to, you know, hang out. And I literally went to my uncle's house, y'all, one time. This is the saddest. I mean, this tells you the kind of person he is. I went to my uncle's house because at the time my mom was working for Jaguar, right? And had a Jaguar convertible, an XJS convertible, and he's a car guy. He's a crazy car guy, right? And so I go to his house. Now, mind you, I did not call or anything first because I'm like, he's my uncle. I'm like, why would he, what would he think anything of like me just showing up to show him this really cool car? Can I tell you, that man would not even fucking come to the door because I did not call ahead of time. So, yeah, I was like, oh, these people, not so much fun. Not so much fun at all. I decided then, because in the meantime, I had moved to Illinois and my mom had gotten a job, like I said, for Jaguar, right? Amen. I 100% agree. Those people that are there for the good and the bad, those are family. They don't have to be blood, but those are the family, you know? Those are the ones that you know are your ride or die. I have some ride or dies. My friend Lori is my ride or die. Let me tell you. She was going to come by today. It was so funny. Excuse me. She was going to come by today and hang out for a little while I was doing this, but she ended up running out of time and wasn't able to, but she will probably end up being on one of these with me, and you will you'll get to experience her. She's a hoot. But in the meantime, I had come to Illinois. My mom got a job for Jaguar, and they moved her to Southern California. Oh, let me tell you. I was like, really? You're in SoCal? Boy, oh boy, I think I would love to go to college out there. So I convinced my mom, and honestly, it did not take much convincing because she warned me before I came to Illinois, but again, we talked about the fact that I am a stubborn Capricorn and I knew everything. I mean, everything. And like, you needed to know in the world at 18, right? So my mom was in Southern California and I was like, hey, I want to go to college out there. And she's like, sure, no problem. So I moved out and I actually moved in with my mom and our relationship was much better. So I went to I went to college in Southern California. I lived in, I'm sure you all have heard of Laguna Beach. Laguna Beach, you know, that's where they film The Hills and all of that, and that whole area. So there's Laguna Beach, the area, there's Laguna Niguel. I lived down in San Juan Capistrano for a little while. I've never lived in San Diego, which I will tell you, if I was able to live in California again, right? If my job allowed me to live in SoCal again, I would be there in a heartbeat because, first of all, my moral standards and my belief system jived more with the area I lived down there. Let's just put it that way, okay? I'm not trying to say anyone should believe how I believe, but for me, I fit in with that mindset down there very well. I loved Southern California. It is extremely expensive. I feel like that was the longest I ever lived anywhere. I lived in Southern California for 20 years. So I went to college out there, and then I got my first job in the automotive industry out there. So I worked for, Aston Martin, Jaguar, Land Rover. At the time, Aston Martin, Jaguar, and Land Rover were all owned by Ford Motor Corporation, and they had, I can't see what the hell I'm doing. They had a building in Irvine, California called the PAG Building. The Premier Automotive Group building is what it was. And Aston Martin, Jaguar, and Land Rover were all there at the time. We were one company. So I worked for them, and it was very different when you work for a luxury brand. I am so not a luxury brand girl. I mean, I'm covered with tattoos, and I was covered with tattoos long before a lot of people were covered with tattoos, you know. I had a tattoo in high school, and it was such a big brouhaha in the high school I went to. It was hilarious. I was like, I had a butterfly. I had this, here, look. I literally had this friggin' butterfly, this friggin' butterfly in high school, and it was like people acted like I was like, you know, some crazy rebel kind of person. I'm like, whatever. But so working for a luxury brand and not quite being the luxury brand model of what they think the people should look like was kind of interesting. They're much more, brands are so much more open-minded now. I mean, it's funny. I look around now, and first of all, there's a lot more women in the automotive industry, which makes me extremely happy. Hold on. Excuse me. Oh, you're a butterfly. Yes. Okay. So it makes me really happy to see more women doing jobs that were considered jobs that only men could do. So that's why Southern California was kind of like, you know, I'm super pro women on, like, as far as I'm concerned, is if you put your mind to it, you can do anything you fucking want. I mean, there are limitations in maybe like physical strength and things like that, but let's be honest, there's ways around things. So I am a firm believer that if you really want to do something, do it. Life is way too fucking short, man. Way too short. Okay, I think I have all of the animals. Those are butterflies. Those are not animals. Those are, oh, what do you know? More bows. Ha, shocking, right? So, yeah, firm believer. If you want to do something, and I'm just trying to see if there's any animals in any of these. Oh, there's some kitty cats. If you want to do something, do it. One of the reasons I say this is because on April 15th of 2008 at 4:30 in the morning, I woke up and I was like, you know, I'm not feeling so great. Something's going on. And I was just kind of laid there for a minute and realized that, wow, I really don't feel good. Something's really not okay. And it was funny because I called my mom and I'm like, listen, I'm not feeling good. Can you come take me to the emergency room? Oh, shit, those don't go in there. Oh, I hate when I do that. Just a second. I gotta separate those. So I called my mom and I was like, hey, can you take me in the emergency room? Oh, come on, you little bitch. And she's like, I'm already in downtown Chicago. And I was at the time, and I lived in Naperville, if anyone knows Illinois, right? Are those kitty heads? Yes. Hold on. All different colors. They're so effing cute, too. Oh, we got a couple other ones. They are friggin' adorable. I love these. But like I said, called my mom. I was like, hey, I'm not feeling good. Something's not right. And she's like, well, you know, call 911. And I'm like, all right. I get off the phone and I do call 911 because all of a sudden I couldn't walk anymore. And I'm a little freaking out, going, what the hell is going on? And I have incredible, like this, the most incredible back pain. Like what woke me up was incredible back pain, right? I'm trying to remember where I got the cat heads from. Oh, I cannot remember. Honestly, it's going to be either Ali, Shein, or Temu. But I was doing a lot of Temu for a while, so it might be that. But yeah, so all of a sudden I couldn't walk, and then I had problems where I couldn't breathe very well, and I'm like, what the hell is going on? Luckily, I literally live down the street from the fire department, so they showed up super quick. I crawled to the door, and they got me to the hospital, and I was having a heart attack. I was like, excuse me? Pardon moi? I'm 39. What do you mean I'm having a heart attack? So, and I'll tell you, I was so out of it, y'all. So they spelled my name wrong, right? On the bands that they give you at the hospital. And the doctor comes in and goes, you know, he's like, blah, 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 you're having a heart attack. And I'm like, are you sure you have the right Teresa Bailey? Because this is spelled incorrectly. I was trying to convince the cardiac surgeon that I was not in the middle of having a heart attack as I was in the middle of having a heart attack. So, yeah. And gets even better, okay? Y'all, They gave me a phone. Why would you give someone a phone in the emergency room when they're having a heart attack, right? So they gave me a phone. So I called into work and I was like, hey, I'm not going to be in today. I'm having a heart attack. Oh my God. I will tell you right now, I do not remember that. But Rebecca, the woman I spoke to, it's one of the funniest. We laugh about it all the time because she's like, she was like, excuse me? Apparently she freaked out and went and told my boss and everything. But yeah, they gave me a phone and I called into work because, I wanted to make sure that they knew where I was. Oh, Lord. Really? I mean, come on. I'm just like, oh, but so yeah, so 39, had a heart attack. Took me like a month and a half to recover. When you have a heart attack, one of the things that happens is the stress on your body. It was literally, I felt like an old person. It exhausted me to walk, do any of that. I think I was in the hospital probably about, I don't know, a week. And oops, look at that, missed that completely. So I was in the hospital probably about a week, and then I got to go home. I couldn't live by myself though because of the condition I was in after my heart attack. So I moved into, my mom at the time had a big ass house that had an apartment upstairs. Like, look at this. I mean, come on. It's freaking pieces of crap, people. Do not buy these. Do not buy these. I'm telling you, do not. Okay, so I ended up moving into the apartment above my mom's house after I got out of the hospital. So that worked out okay, but the problem was is I couldn't walk up a flight of stairs for like, oh my gosh, it was probably a good month and a half before I could walk up a flight of stairs. It is the craziest thing because one day you just feel fine, absolutely like completely fine, right? And then the next day you feel like you're like a 90-year-old person who needs somebody to help you get dressed, help you take a shower, all of that. It was weird. Anybody who's had like any sort of, crazy major injury or anything that happens to them where as an adult you no longer can take care of yourself, that is like, dude, that is a trip. Let me tell you. I mean, it's happened to me, unfortunately, more than once. Oh yeah, if your dad has had a heart attack, yeah, that is a scary thing. And I will tell you, ladies, I'm assuming most of the people on here are ladies, but I will tell you that women, the symptoms for heart attacks from women are different from men. So that is one thing that people sometimes don't realize. I had like all the back pain I had was my heart attack. And so women get a lot more back pain when they have heart attacks than men. Men tend to have what they call those widowmakers, so the heart attack in that big vein in the heart. So you have a blockage there. There's a reason they call it a widowmaker. I think that's all the animals out of there. That's all I can see for right now with my old ass eyes. So yeah, I moved in with my mom, and just kind of went along. But one of the things that made me realize is life is way, way too short. Nope, I'm good on that one. Life's way too short. If there's something you want to do it. I started doing a lot more traveling after I started doing a lot more traveling after my heart attack. I have said this, and I know I've said this before probably on a few of my videos. I did not win the healthy body lottery. Let's just put it that way, okay? If I gave you a list of the things that my poor body has been through, it is kind of sad when I have to go to the doctors or something like that. It's so funny. Like they start going through like all of my surgeries and things that have happened, and I'm like, it's like page after page after page. I tease that I need to live in a plastic bubble, like the movie with John Travolta, The Boy in the Plastic Bubble. It needs to be the Teresa in the plastic bubble. I think I told you I busted my arm so badly that I have a plate and 16 screws in it now. I did that on December 29th, 2023. Going to let the dogs in the garage. Oh my gosh, I'm not even kidding you. Y'all, if you can imagine this, right? So, my kitchen, you go into my kitchen, you take the stairs, the 2 steps down, the door to the garage, go out to the backyard to bring the dogs in. And I was moving too quickly, not paying attention, and caught my foot on something. And literally Superman, I'm not even kidding you, Superman through the air in the garage. Superman, here's my arm Supermaning, right? Superman through the air in the garage to like run my shoulder into a metal toolbox.